a double-edged sword, right? Job's making you miserable, and you're trying to hang on to some sense of yourself, and try not to succumb to your breaking your values or any of your morals. You know, so you're trying to play this game, this very dangerous game with your soul. You know. You know, and you could lose all your money and people you love through this process. But what I found out was I completely lost myself. Not because of the drugs or the mental illness. I became something else because I stayed in that business. Or... And that was the toughest part, right? Because now that you're no longer in that business, you're left with this shell of yourself. Like, who the fuck am I? I'm this now? Okay, well, what do I do? Oh, I know exactly what I do, because this is the type of person I am. This is what I'm going to do, right? So you continue the same path, because now you've become this thing. And this thing is miserable and full of hate. And you're gonna be drawn to your next job that allows you to be that person, and that's what's happened to me, right? "Quote unquote" muscle hire. You know, and then the light bulb finally goes off, and just like, I can't be this person anymore. It wasn't like, oh, I can't handle this mental illness anymore. Oh, I can't handle being a drug addict anymore. Oh, I can't handle being an alcoholic anymore. It was like, who the fuck was I when I was 18? You know, when looking everything back, like, let's see if we can find that guy again. You know, what was that guy at 18 thinking about? You know, what was the dreams of that 18-year-old? What was his aspirations? Of course, besides fucking getting laid, because 18-year-olds, that's all they think of was getting laid, right? You know, and driving home from out west, dude, it was like, it's impossible. I've done too much, I've come too far. There is just no way to change what I became. And it all started from being in a job that I didn't like. Actually, like is a soft word. Like, I fucking hated going to work. I fucking hated it. I can't stress how much I hated it. And bodybuilding's always been in my life since a kid. Something always threw me off track. Even when I was Loblaws, you know, in the early days. Well, of course, my first memory of bodybuilding was Joe Weider's Bodybuilding Encyclopedia. It was like a package, you know, you get this book and charts and stuff. It was like in 1983. You know, and I always went back to it. And like I said, I could never stick with it, right? Like, even when I got really sick when I was off, probably 2013, just a couple years before I would let go. I figured it out. I had figured it out. But given that situation at that time, I just couldn't pursue it. a lot of reasons. But that stuck with me. It stuck with me. You know, I even remember saying in one of my past videos, you know, I was actually trying to think, when was I, since, you know, like, it couldn't have been all bad since I started with Costco in 96. There must have been some points in my life where I was really happy. You know, there must have been some points in there. And a lot of those, the two of those times was when I was actually into bodybuilding, really into bodybuilding. You know, 1998, me and my first wife were really into it. Like, we actually had a gym in our house, a fucking serious fucking gym. You know, I think we spent like over 10 grand on it. You know, and then then again in 2008, you know, working out made me happy, but just couldn't sustain it. I just couldn't sustain it. I wouldn't make it a priority over everything else. My job always came before that. Always came before that. You know? Came before your happiness, your own happiness. You know, you have to plan for your escape. You have to, if you're in a shitty job, you know, and you want to follow your passion, you have to plan for it, you know. But what you fail to say is it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that. It's going to be, you have to take a pretty good look at who you are now, you know. And that was probably one of my biggest challenges. The job became who I was. Like, that's what it was. This character, this turbo, this number one. You know, there was no Scott outside of work and Scott at work. It was the same guy. You know, living the same story, living the same craziness. There wasn't a separation. There wasn't a home life and a work life. You know, that was the hardest part. Was, well, this person doesn't know how to do anything else. What do I want to talk about today? I don't fucking know. I just know I haven't done a video in a while, so. Last month's been interesting. I'm definitely enjoying the time off work. Trying to understand what went wrong with that job, what I didn't see, what I'm gonna need next time I do work. The pitfalls. You know, it would have been really easy. Really easy last month to just shut everybody out. You know, and just completely focus on the gym 100% and just get off the coke cold turkey, get into a routine that was filled with no distractions. And initially, I thought that was the right thing to do, right? Because you want to reset yourself and get yourself in a better place. And then I thought to myself, well, is that really the best thing to do? Is avoidance the best thing to do? Because sure, fine, you block everything out, you block everybody out. But what are you actually learning? Yeah, sure, it benefits you short term, but it doesn't benefit you long term. The reality is, no matter who you are, we all have our problems, and we all have our inner obstacles to overcome. And that's not gonna fucking change because you have your shit together for a month. Those problems or issues you have, whether it be dealing, outside of your life, are going to be there waiting for you. So I told myself, I'm like, well, yeah, it's kind of true. So even though the illusion is that you create for yourself, everything's fine, you find yourself running into those same problems you didn't properly deal with or process are waiting for you down the line. So I took a different approach this month. How would I explain this? So over the next few months, until I start school to finish my truck license, I haven't really changed anything, which has made things difficult. But what I'm trying to do is put more focus into what's happening, why it's happening, how do I benefit from that, and prepare for the problems I know I'm going to face in the future, and how. So I'm trying to set myself up to be prepared and be as I don't know, fuck. So much easier to write this stuff down, which you've noticed I've been doing a lot of writing lately. Although this approach is harder, it does cost me financially. I try and view it this time as an investment in myself, an investment in knowledge. Um, sure, this may cost me in the short term, but it's not going to cost me in the long term, if that makes any sense. Like one thing I found when I was going to work, a real problem with balancing and organizing my life. It's I didn't know how to manage manage everything that everyone goes through in life, right? It's like I'm really good at multitasking, but multitasking in what I know. When you try and multitask with things that you don't have a lot of experience with, can become quite overwhelming. So that's what I'm trying to do now is kind of keep my life complicated, and trying to learn from those complications. Whether it be drugs, whether it be my personal relationships, whether it be finding a way to balance my working out with that. There's a lot of stuff that I have to organize and prepare for. And in the past, it'd be like, I have to get this one thing done, and I got to get it done so I can get it out of the way and then move on to the next thing. I have to learn how to juggle a lot of different things that cause me stress or cause me uncomfortableness, and learn how to come out in the end of it successful. So that's kind of the approach that I'm taking. And hopefully, when I find myself in a position again where I'm working full time, it won't impact my life in such a negative way. As far as the job, I know exactly what I'm looking for and what works, and I'm prepared. I'm in a position that I can leave if it's not. Also, I know what I need in my personal life to maintain a balance of working, 50, 60 hours a week. I know what I need. I know I need bodybuilding in my life, and I have to understand that. I have to make time for that and prepare to make time for that and make those adjustments. My personal life, I have no problem being alone, but it's very clear to me that based on how I lived my life for so long, I'm gonna need somebody. For support, for joy, and I have to prepare for that as well. So avoiding just putting myself in a box and just training, I'm not preparing myself for nothing. I'd be hiding. So I'm trying to keep my life as complicated as possible, if that makes any sense, and trying to learn from it and trying to balance all of these things and understand how to do that without, self-destructing or fucking reaching an elevated state that is unmanageable. So that's what I'm trying to do. So this month it's been a lot, because I really haven't taken the pressure off myself. Don't get me wrong, it's been nice. Not working that crazy job in the schedule and being fucking miserable all the time. That's definitely been nice, because I definitely haven't been miserable. I've definitely been uncomfortable. Learning how to manage all these aspects of my life. And learning how to compartmentalize. I have a couple people in my personal life who are very, very close to me. I'm gonna have to learn how to manage those two relationships. I have to learn how to separate it from my workouts and time. If someone needs me, I have to learn. Like, listen, I have to take care of this. I'll be there for you, babe, but I really need to take care of this, and learn how to say no, or just, I call it life management. Trying to figure out trying to learn what's the best way to live my life, right? Of course, you can never make everyone happy, including yourself. Are my relationships perfect? No. But I'm not throwing them away. I'm trying to work on them. Has the gym been going perfect? No, but I'm making progress, making gains. But I'm not, I'm eliminating it from my life. There's a lot I need to do paperwork wise, to get ready for my license. There's a lot of things that have to be done. And I'm doing them one step at a time, So I'm trying to learn how to balance all of these things, And I think, as hard as it is, I think that's the right thing to do. Is learn how to do those things, because there's you can't live in a box, and you have to learn how to deal with all this stuff. But you have to learn how to deal with it properly, because you can't just fucking shutting shit out and saying, nope, I'm not gonna fucking deal with that ever again. You're not fucking learning anything from that. You're not growing from that, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. It's hard to be honest with yourself like that. It's like you learn things from taking the hard way. You don't learn anything from taking the shortcuts. I think subconsciously, I think I've always done that, just didn't realize that's what I was doing. But I never took the time to stop and say, okay, why am I doing that? Why is this so hard? Why am I reacting that way? Of course, you throw the bipolar in the mix, it makes everything just that much harder, of course. especially with personal relationships. It's very difficult, but I know that eliminating them from my life is not going to do me any good. Whether it works out or not is really not the point. It's learning how to deal with those things without your fucking life going into the fucking toilet. Like you have to be able to manage these personal relationships and manage personal issues and manage a career and manage your fucking household without fucking falling apart. You see what I'm saying? So I don't, as hard as it is, it's not going to benefit, right? You have to learn how to have that balance. So many times where I would just focus on work and nothing else. Well, what happens? My personal life falls apart. My relationships fall apart, right? What happens if I just focus on the gym and everything and nothing else? Well, everything else will fall apart. But yeah, I'll look great, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So as much as it appears that he's on EI and he's on vacation, he's working out and he's getting blasted on coke and having crazy, it's far from the truth. I'm working still. I'm working on myself and I'm working on a lot of things. So this isn't a break by any means. Things are still really, really difficult. So I guess my point is, sure, it's good if something's, it's true what they say, if something's affecting your life in a negative way, you need to cut it out, right? But you have to ask yourself, why is that affecting my life negatively? Is there something is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that is in my control or it's not in my control? Can I learn from it? Fuck, I'm hot. Fucking open this door. Yes, Ash. Where was I? Fucking know where the fuck I was. Yeah, negative stuff in your life, yeah. Yeah, so it's true if something's being negative in your life, I think you have to look at it as I don't think you can just cut it out. Like, I think you have to be more what's the word I'm looking for? I think you should put more time into assessing that negativity. And really think about it, because sometimes, like you said, you can learn a lot from this negative stuff that's coming at you, right? Learning how to deal with that stuff will prepare you for dealing with that stuff in the future, and then it won't affect you. It'll affect you less and less in a negative way if you come across a situation like that again, or things of that nature, right? Hopefully it's fucking making sense. fuck. Not feeling too passionate about this video today. I think you can tell that. But I'm just trying to keep these up, you know. I don't want to neglect things that benefit me, right? I don't want to all of a sudden stop talking and stop evaluating and doing what I'm doing, you know. It's important to get this shit out, you know. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna end this for now. I really don't know how much sense this made, but like I said, I just trying to keep up what's good for me, right? So till I see you again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. God bless you all.